So we're talking about the economic war on the Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
Americans have a right, it's constitutional right to bear arms, and we're grateful for that, but there are a number of people that want to take that right away. We thought as we dove into it, we'd bring you in as an expert and tell us, we've got some weapons here, tell us about them.
Well, I appreciate that. I think there's a wide range of misconceptions that kind of fuel all that. One of the challenges that essentially a rifle is a rifle, a pistol is a pistol, and we've seen a lot of legislation in the past, particularly recent decades, in which there's an attempt to criminalize weapons based off of their scary appearance rather than any sort of empirical details. So for example, the term assault rifle, not too long ago that actually had an empirical definition, a shoulder-fired weapon capable of firing rifle caliber ammunition that fired either semi or full automatic, typically by use of a selector lever. That was an empirical definition that everybody could understand and was easy to define and analyze whether that was the case or not. However, in recent years, there's been an attempt to sort of blur those lines, and so now we see assault weapons legislation and different agencies that view assault weapons and define assault weapons based off of cosmetic features and appearances. So one of the things they were talking about here is this rifle, right? This is, all right, we're clear. This is essentially an AR-15 type rifle, 5.56 by 45 millimeter. It came originally derived from a military design, but it's essentially a rifle. So long as it's semi-automatic, there's not particularly any range of dissimilar performance from this to a rifle that had wooden features and appeared much more like, perhaps your grandfather's rifle, something along those lines. However, once we've added this pistol grip, depending on a muzzle brake on here, barrel length, sometimes it's a collapsible or folding stock. Some of these features are what gets captured in legislation that's targeted towards quote-unquote assault weapons. But the performance of the rifle isn't necessarily different from what almost anybody would standardly recognize as a rifle.
So basically what I pull from that is the scary appearance is what the legislatures are trying to ban as opposed to the functionality.
That has often been the case, and that's unfortunate, but there's definitely been a blurring of the lines, and it's gotten to the point where that's actually been captured within law and statute, and there are different agencies. The ATF, for example, they have policies that are drawn around assault weapons attempting to conform to some of these modern definitions that go other than what we talked about as a straight empirical definition of the term.
Well, tell us about this one. What makes this different in the sense from my grandfather's rifle?
Okay, well, so a couple of things. Number one, what would make this an assault rifle by any standard would be the fact that it's shoulder fired, comes into the shoulder here. It's it operates from a detachable box magazine. This is a standard aluminum 30-round government issue style magazine, inserts here. Fires rifle caliber ammunition, 5.56 by 45 or .223. So up to now, it meets the standard of potentially of an assault rifle. And if it were select fire, if it was capable of firing semi-auto or full auto, then logically that would be an assault rifle, and that's already been covered by National Firearms Act since the era of the gangsters that were running around with Thompson submachine guns.
But this does not fire fully automatic.
It doesn't. It has a selector switch that has safe and semi-automatic. So it's a standard semi-automatic rifle. But if one were trying to characterize it in colorful terms, as we've seen done in different news reports or even in law enforcement reporting, depending on what the intent of the narrative being sold is, this is sometimes referred to as a high-powered rifle, or it's referred to as an assault weapon, which is really a redefinition of the term from the original sense in which there was an actual solid line placed on what an assault rifle would be and wouldn't be.
Now, the legality of this particular AR differs from state to state. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right.
In Texas, it's probably fully legal, and in other states, there may be elements of it that aren't considered legal. But the basis for what it is should be legal in all 50 states. It may be tricked out.
I mean, if we're speaking legally from the moral sense, I wholeheartedly agree. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't intend to give legal advice.
Right.
But generally speaking, this by any range of logical definitions would be a rifle.